What is going on, guys? It is Zigzag here. Welcome back to another Geoguessr video on my channel. And before we get into anything on today's video, I want to say an absolutely massive thank you for 50,000 subscribers on the channel. 50,000 subs was my goal for the year, and I'm so grateful to have reached it. It's halfway to 100,000 subscribers, which is one of the ultimate goals I have for this channel. And yeah, guys, I have some really ambitious videos coming up. I'm super looking forward to showing you some of them. There should be a really fun one this week. So yeah, guys, stay subbed. Thank you all from the bottom of my heart so much. Also, I want to do a 50,000 subscriber special with a Q&A. So please go ahead and leave your questions inside the comments of this video. I'll come back to it and answer all of those when the Q&A video rolls around. And as I promised, there will be 50,000 subscriber merch, and I'll announce that in the Q&A video, all things being equal. Very briefly, one further thing is that there is going to be a fan meetup in Sydney this weekend, the 16th of September. So if you want to meet me, you can go to the town hall at 3 p.m. on that Saturday. And yeah, we should just kind of have a walk around and chat, and it should be a lot of fun. Okay, so let's get into today's video, which is going to be on Plonket Extreme. Now, this is without a doubt the hardest Geoguessr map with over 500 locations. Quite simply, some of these are absurd. It's essentially created by the pro community, which is called Plonket, and they've just compiled the very hardest rounds known to man. So it's a really, really fun map, and I think you guys are going to enjoy watching me struggle on it. I think my top score on this map, let's see what it actually is here. My top score ever is 15,400. So we're going to see if we can beat that. Okay, let's get into things here and see how we can manage on no moving, panning, or zooming settings. So first one here, we immediately have a pine tree here. It kind of looks, it's definitely difficult to say based on the trees initially if this is Europe or North America. I think my very first thought was North America, but the longer I look at it, the more I think everything feels a little bit too European to go North America. It's definitely early spring here, not that that particularly helps. And it doesn't feel too cold. I could definitely say it feels like more like Central Europe rather than Northern Europe. And I don't know, I was even thinking Germany here is a pretty decent option just because it's got lots of new coverage. They probably found some really interesting rounds. I kind of thought it looked a little bit like Slovakia, which has a lot of like in the early spring coverage and stuff like that. But yeah, I might just try Germany here just because I'm not recognizing this at all, and it is 2023 coverage as well. So let's just give that a go, shall we? And okay, it was actually in Turkey. Very, very bad guess there, but to be fair, I mean, actually with the pine, it does make sense, so I can definitely see that, but yeah, not the best guess coming out from us, but that's what you expect, right? Okay, next one here. Anytime I get the continent right, and I'm pretty sure that was on the European side, I can be happy. Okay, this one, wait, could this be Sri Lanka? I mean, first thought was obviously something like Mexico or something like that, but something about the redness in the dirt up there in the distance made me feel like this might be Southeast Asia instead. So, I mean, this is one, because I was playing with a botanist yesterday on my second channel, which you should go check out the video for, but something about this gave me more of an Asian vibe the longer I looked at it, and I can't really describe what, though I'm still pretty sure Mexico is also a good guess here. I want to trust my gut here and go Sri Lanka. I really don't. I don't see this going well, to be honest, but sometimes you gotta go against your gut on this map, and yeah, I would say it's there, or maybe somewhere in like, see, where would you put it in Mexico? That's the problem here. It almost looks more like Guatemala, so maybe, yeah, probably like Chiapas or Campeche or something like that here. And, oh, it was Sri Lanka. I was really not expecting to be correct there, so that's a great one. We got the country correct. That is probably not going to happen too many times in this video, to be honest. But let's see if we can build on that. Next one here, we've got white road lines. Which is really interesting because I kind of thought this was Argentina off the bat here. So maybe this is something completely different then. Where is the sun? The sun definitely appears to be slightly more southern, which would put us in the northern hemisphere, though I'm pretty sure it's not quite trustworthy here, although it does appear to be somewhat more south. It's a lot of pines here again. We also have like rubbish inside the tree. Or is that just snow? Wow, that's like a big clump of snow, actually. Wow, right, interesting. But yeah, the white road lines, that surely draws you away somewhat from Argentina, because they would not normally have a solid white line in the center of the road. It's definitely not common anyway. So I guess if it wasn't Argentina, then maybe it's actually something in southern Europe here, because although we have birches, I think the massive amount of pines here would lead me that direction. So yeah, maybe Greece or Bulgaria. This is not easy stuff. I could even see Turkey being a possibility here. It's not out of the question. We do appear to have maybe a wooden pole here, which is quite tall, so maybe that actually bolsters the Greece theory here. And it is the type of thing that they will put in the map, birch trees in southern Europe, so I kind of like this idea. I just really hope it's not Argentina, which I can still see as being an outside possibility here. But let's pick somewhere up in the mountains here. I guess more on the Balkan side or more up north. Let's go for something like this, shall we? And okay, not terrible there. It is actually down in the Caucasus, right on the Georgian border. Very cool round. I'm just thinking in hindsight if I could have gotten that, probably. But yeah, it just wasn't a Russian round I recognized, and a lot of times I will know Russia a little bit better. Okay, this is interesting now. I can't even tell what camera generation this is. I think it's new coverage, actually. So that's really fascinating. Could this be Israel? Because I know Israel just got some new coverage. Although, yeah, I don't think the copyright date, actually, that would make it a bit older, maybe. I'm not sure. It still could be Israel. But that was my first thought. Maybe also just like Argentina or somewhere in Peru or Chile or something like that. Both possible, I think, as well. It's very rocky here. They're about to bring out new coverage in Mongolia, and this just looks like Mongolia to me, but of course we know because it's more modern coverage that it can't be there. So I am thinking that this is probably Israel somehow, though maybe I'm going the complete wrong side of things here. The very dark road is interesting to me. It almost feels a bit North American, so I can actually see USA being a very distinct possibility here, though it is so bone dry that it's a bit strange. So my three thoughts were like, maybe Chile and US and Israel. And actually, I think with the darkness of the road, we should go Americas here. So I will try the Chile thought maybe here. Sun is maybe more, it's a bit more eastern there. I don't think it really helps. Okay, so I'll try Chile here. Wild guess, though it is, I will give it a go. Where is it going to be here? Ooh, it's over in Argentina. That's a really nice guess, honestly. Very happy with that. I did suggest Argentina as well, so I'm happy that I mentioned it. And honestly, the region is correct, so that's pretty nice. Okay, next one here. This I'm familiar with. Not the exact round, but this like kind of forest road, I believe, is north of Eswatini in South Africa, actually. I've used this exact road in a video before for fooling people. And yeah, it's just a big eucalyptus forest. It has very red dirt for South Africa. Like, this is much more red than you'd typically find in ZA. And I think it was somewhere around here. I'm not really sure where, but, you know, in this kind of region. Now, could it be Eswatini? I'm pretty sure, I'm like 95% sure this was in South Africa. If not Eswatini, we still get good points here. So let's see if I'm right. And okay, it was quite a bit further north. They're actually near Sanin, but that was a really successful seed, almost my best ever score there. Europe was lacking, but everywhere else we picked up really nice points. So 14k on NMPZ, I feel like that's already really nice, but let's head into another one here and see if we can improve. So we have an antenna here and we have lots of ferns, which is interesting. So this antenna typically means European areas, though I'm thinking this vegetation doesn't feel particularly European, so maybe what came to mind was like a very weird Hong Kong or something like that, because you do, I believe, get this antenna in Hong Kong and Singapore. Then going back to the European idea, I think, you know, ferns, you do see them a lot in France and Spain, so maybe this is just a really weird concrete road over in northern Spain or something like that. I still feel like these bushes over to the left of the screen don't feel particularly Europe to me, so I am still probably more amenable to the Hong Kong idea, though, yeah, it is definitely a difficult round. This curb as well looks like a high rainfall area, right? You don't really need a curb that thick if you're not really getting too much rainfall, so that would make sense for Hong Kong, I feel. Though, yeah, I mean, it's just difficult. It's just difficult because I definitely think that France and Spain is still good as well. Look, all in all, I think maybe if I was playing in a tournament, I'd probably go for a European guess here, just because I think, you know, the chance probabilities with this antenna means you're normally there. But because it's this map and because I'm filming a video, I want to go for a crazy guess in Hong Kong here. I recognize that it's probably unlikely, but let's just get in here, pick a national park out, like this one maybe, and go for it. Will it be correct? No, it won't be. It will be right exactly where I suspected it might be, in the French and Spanish border. So that is just unfortunate. But nonetheless, a very interesting round, and I guess this region getting a whole lot of rainfall, especially right by the coast there. So that would make sense, honestly. 2 points to start off with on this seed, unfortunate. Okay, and the next one here is, why does this feel like Greece to me? I think this kind of style of fence is quite quite Greek in a way, where they have like the kind of more American-looking fences for some reason. Then we have like quite a bit of red soil going on over here, a lot of pines as well that kind of feel a bit more Southern European. So I do actually like the look of this guess for Greece. I think my other options would be anything else in the Mediterranean, for example, Sardinia, I think could work quite nicely, maybe even Sicily, but I even thought maybe a Greek island here, because I feel like these fences are just really common there. Oh, is that a Spanish no hunting sign, though? We might be looking at a Spanish no hunting sign here, in which case I could definitely see Spain here, but the fence definitely reminded me more of Greece, so I got to decide what I actually like more. I think it is actually best for us to go Spain here, because I have a sneaking suspicion that that's exactly what that is. And yes, everything else does fit well enough for me to change the guess. Okay, so I'm going to go for Spain here. If not, then this is almost certainly, well, it's not a no hunting sign if I get this wrong. And I'm going to be annoyed if it's Greece, but let's find out here. And it was actually in Portugal. Very interesting. Probably a no hunting sign nonetheless. But yeah, that's a good guess. Okay, nice. Next round here. You know, it's not too many maps where I'm happy to get the wrong country, but as long as I get a neighboring one in this one, I'm pretty happy. Okay, well, this is really interesting. We got like some maple-ish looking leaves here. That's interesting initially. This house all the way to the right, I mean to the left, feels kind of North American in a way, though, and so does light almost, but I think this is still Europe, and I would say maybe like Denmark, or we have like some spruces here. It's interesting. I would say maybe Denmark, maybe Germany, maybe Luxembourg even feeling pretty good here. It's definitely an interesting type of round. I know, yeah, no, I don't know, actually, to be honest with you. Okay, I don't know, There's so many options within Europe here. North America would be crazy to go for, because even if we like click in the right area, we're probably still not getting that many points. Like I'm talking like regional, because we're not going to get the state here. And nonetheless, I do still think the infrastructure is European enough to make me confident that it is Europe. Though, yeah, definitely prepared for a US to crop its head up here. But yeah, I'm going to go for Bornholm. I mean, for this island here, because I think that has kind of similar coverage sometimes. Or maybe Bornholm too. No, I'll go for this island. I think it's a bit of a crazy guess. Maybe I should just go North America here. Something about these fences as well could definitely be North America. But screw it, I'm gonna go on a Danish island here. Let's see it. And oh no, it was Oregon. Yeah, those houses were too North American. I got baited by the camera quality there, which is much more common in Europe. And a lot of times when you do see that kind of older coverage, it is just kind of on like paths and stuff like this in America. I should have known. But as I said, if I'm going for maximum points here, I wouldn't have gone Oregon anyway. I probably would have gone like Colorado or something. So yeah, it was going to be no points regardless. Okay, next one here. Immediately, this one just gave me an immediate like Turkish vibe based on the house, or Balkan, one of the two. This is an interesting round because of this apartment building though. Very rickety, very poor looking. Almost looks like it's been burnt or something. The curb is like made of cobble, which is really good for Eastern Europe, I think. So I'm thinking anything in the Carpathians here, down to Turkey as well. And maybe like North Macedonia could work quite nicely here as well. I could definitely see that. The building kind of felt Turkish, this one, so that's why I wanted to go there. But I feel like North Macedonia does kind of share some similarities there. So I'm going to go in Kočani. And yeah, we'll see how this guess goes. I think it's going to be somewhere around here. I'm relatively confident of that. Okay, well, Slovakia there. Yeah, if I was going to go Ukraine, I would have gone here. It is Carpathian Mountains, so not too bad. But definitely a hard Slovakia. Okay, this is interesting. Why was my first thought Iceland? I think because some of the vegetation here is so low-lying. The grass growing in the middle of the road, low-key, this is probably just North America, disguised as Europe, because of the grass growing in the middle of the road. The sun there is, again, not helpful. It looks like this is like right in the evening time. And yeah, the bushes, I mean, it looks like it might be canola here or something growing, right? So in the distance there, I feel like that feels pretty good for North America. Normally when you see canola, but the soil's very dark. I think it's like really widely grown around Edmonton, like in the like Grand Prairie region. You have a lot there. So I could go for that. Ooh, I think the rolling hills, you do see them there. But do you see grass growing in the middle of the road like this? Because the landscape feels quite like Danish or something, but I'm pretty sure this is North America disguised as Europe. Ooh, look, that's the dust trail there, and that's the back of the car. So we would see an antenna in Europe normally. So yeah, I feel good about North America here. I think this is an interesting thought. I like this guess, but I guess realistically, like the Dakotas or something are just as possible. So let's go for this guess here. And okay, not bad. Getting the country there. Saskatchewan indeed. So I guess that's kind of halfway between the two thoughts I had. 2.4k, I can definitely live with that. So there we go, 8,900. Though, had we switched our guess in Hong Kong to Europe and our North America guess, we could have been in with a lot of points there. So that's, you know, it's unfortunate, but that's the way it goes. And this map is not called the hardest for nothing. Okay, this is interesting because immediately, if I didn't know this was a hard map, I would immediately go Taiwan here, because the vibe of the vegetation and the blue car here, it would make sense. This type of road, I think you find that kind of road in Mexico fairly often. And I'm just trying to work out whether the vegetation could actually fit here. I think that's what I'm going to go for, because I think this kind of intricate pattern on the road is something you see often in Mexico. Now, could it be something like Philippines with a kind of concrete motif going on in the road here as well? Maybe, definitely. It's not out of the question. Nevertheless, I think I am going to go for Mexico, and I think Oaxaca is the part of Mexico, or maybe it's Chiapas, where you see these kind of roads going on. So I'll go for that in the mountains here. Why not? It actually could make sense. And YOLO, let's get it. And okay, nice, super good guess there. It was right next to Oaxaca in Veracruz, and we get 4.2k, very nice indeed, but definitely look like Taiwan. Okay, next one here, pretty much impossible. We have a long antenna, so that helps us out a little bit here. Interesting, so like some coastal pine trees. So I would not expect that we're too far from the coast, like these ones with the really thin needles. Almost looks a bit like southern France or something like that to me here. Ooh, I've definitely also seen like a similar kind of region in the border between Albania and Montenegro. Why not that? I mean, I feel like the fence and everything kind of fits here. So, very interesting, right? If we get this right, that's kind of crazy. But I've definitely seen like both sides of the border here in this kind of little flat region. You get very interesting trees. And I feel like it's the type of place you might want to include on a map like this. It could even just be Russia, but really we're just looking at some trees. So let's hope we're correct here and send it in and see if we're at all correct. And that was in Kinmen County in Taiwan. So I don't think we got a very good guess there, guys. But we did get 2 countries in a row before, so we can at least be happy with that, I guess. Okay, next one here. Immediately should be Canada. We have lots of fireweed here, the pink flower, lots of birches as well. I guess the concern here would be that we were in like Finland, but it should be Yukon or Alaska, really. Yeah, but fireweed does grow over that side in Europe as well, and it certainly could be that direction. The road is not so wide that I would instantly think it's North America, and nevertheless, I still think it's a stronger guess. So I'm going to go up in like southern, around Whitehorse here. I feel like this is a strong guess, maybe even just hedging in Little Salmon for the rest of Yukon, even Alaska possible. And I think it's just a better guess. I just think the prominence of so many wildflowers, such lush vegetation, doesn't feel particularly European to me. That is my thought at this stage. And it was Finland. Wow, and southern Finland too. That's crazy, man. I mean, obviously southern Finland is still very far north. Indeed, we're like on the exact right latitude there almost. But come on, man. I was really... Yeah, the road was a bit thin. So that's what you could have used to get it there. And I should have played into the psychology of the map as well, which is that, yes, you are instinctively drawn to go Yukon, but realistically, this is the more interesting place. So yeah, going Finland would have made sense. And so our good start to the seed has quickly fallen apart here. Let's see if we can bring it back a bit. Where we are looking at is this Australia? I couldn't check the feeling that this could be Australia, you know. This is a eucalyptus tree here. So is this, so is this. So we're looking at 3 eucalypts as well. But the rest of the round, like some succulents in here, definitely a very mixed vegetation vibe. So if it is Australia, it has to be pretty far north. And the other options are definitely there. Though, I think we should go Australia here. I think that when you see this many eucalypts, it is just sometimes the better option. So If this is Australia, obviously you got to be thinking something quite tropical. Cairns area has a lot of such places that look like this. Anything down to Townsville also. And then also I actually think that even with this kind of climate, somewhere around like Sunshine Coast, Brisbane is not out of the question here, especially because we may see like a building peeking through there, and kind of a bigger building like that may be more indicative of somewhere near a city. So yeah, I guess my first guess would be Cairns, and my second guess would be Sunshine Coast, and then everywhere else in between I feel like is quite possible here. And, oh, it was Cairns. Let's go. That's an excellent guess. And we claw our way back into making this a redeemable kind of score. And the last one here should be Europe, theoretically. We have maple here, so maybe this is actually North America. The fence looks more European, I could say that. This kind of chain fence. I don't know why it looks more European, but so does the road. It's so thin. It's just not something you typically see in Canada, I would say. So my idea then would be like, maybe it could be like as east as Poland, but I was thinking maybe more so like Belgium or something like that here, maybe Denmark or something, or maybe in the UK. But I'm gonna go between everything here and say Belgium. I think that's kind of my main thought here, so let's give it a go. And okay, it was over in the Netherlands there. So there we go. That was a really solid seed with 2 terrible guesses. However, again, if we had have gone for Finland, then we would have had my best ever game. So that just goes to show what this map is like. And I think I'll go for one more here because I'm still enjoying myself. So let's see. Okay, first one. Very interesting. So it's a dirt road, and again, it's kind of thin, though I could definitely see North America working a bit better than some previous rounds here. To be honest, I'm quite stumped here. I can't really tell where is best to go, because the buildings in the background maybe feel a bit more European, but maybe the white walls would just be kind of Canadian architecture or something like that. And then, yeah, this kind of rock wall here is very ambiguous in my opinion. UK, Denmark, but then also like Newfoundland or something like that here. I don't know, man. It's definitely interesting. I think the overall, maybe Newfie was the thing that stood out to me the most, although I don't see a land bridge like this really existing, to be honest there. So life sucks when you really have no good idea of where you want to guess, but I think I'll go there. And I still think that maybe Denmark, no, Denmark, the hills are too big for Denmark, so maybe even like Orkney or Shetlands here would be my second thought. Maybe that's better. Maybe that is just a better guess. No, I'm going to stick with my guns and go Canada here. Ready to be wrong. Let's find out where it actually is. Okay, and it was Denmark. Yeah, indeed. So that was my very first thought there. And land bridges like that are really common. Let's reset here because I want to get a better score. I want at least round 1 to be a nice one. But that was pretty fun. Okay, next one here. What are we going to get? Okay, this is gettable. We got an antenna. Wow. Very interesting is the fence and the infrastructure. I mean, everything kind of gives you more of a Western European vibe, but I'm wondering, could this be Croatia? Could this be Greece? Something like that. Plate doesn't really give us too much information on the car. It looks to be a French car. Could this ever be Corsica? I didn't think so, but I couldn't rule it out, that's for sure. I don't think it's Crete. Oh, what is that yellow sign there? Ooh, the plot thickens. I don't know what that is, but... Yeah. I mean, this is definitely a wild round. What about these houses? Feeling more like Croatian or Greek or something like that here. I think I might try Croatia. But surely I would recognize this if it was Croatia. I don't know. Greece. Let's go for Greece here. And I am worried that it's going to be much further west, but let's find out where it is. Yeah, Corsica. It was a French car. And I just didn't think... The problem was the mountains weren't big enough, but this is clearly like a big dip. You can see that the mountains are smaller around here, so that's really interesting. Should have known. That's okay. Next one here. It's not Trekker, apparently. There's no Trekker on this map, so this should be actually somewhere where the car drove. Like, why did Cambodia come to mind here? Like, southwest coast? But I also thought of Mexico. I think Mexico's probably stronger here. Yucatan often has this really white sand, so I think the best place to guess is, like, somewhere around here, right? I think I'm just going to go for it here, guys. I know there's, like, coverage around here. So, yeah, we could say we were, like, on this road here. It's not out of the question. And yeah, oh man, should have gone where I initially clicked, but that's still a really good guess. So, yeah, that's some redemption there. Next one here. Blurs everywhere. So, that is really typically found in Lithuania. I don't think we can guess Lithuania here. I think that would be too on the nose, right? So maybe Poland instead is quite possible here. Or maybe we're completely barking up the wrong tree. Maybe this is USA. Because there's a lot of like moss or whatever you call it growing on the tree. So maybe this could be North America. The blur is kind of looking a bit North American. It could be No way, it's Mexico, right? I think it's not Mexico. I think we're fine for that. But if I was going US, I mean, I've never seen those blurs there, so it's probably a silly guess. But I was thinking maybe Oregon or Washington. And the other guess, of course, would just be to go Poland here, which is probably wise. Though this is a very difficult round. Whenever you're just in a forest like this, it's not all that achievable. But you know what? I think it is North America. I could even see Mexico, but I'm gonna go for Oregon here. I don't know. I'm just gonna get into the spirit of the map here. So this is a crazy, crazy Oregon, and it was US. Okay, we can be happy there. We got the country streak. It was in Long Island, but hey, it's the right country. We are a continent away, and yet we are on the right continent, so that's good. 2-country streak. Okay, back in Australia here, I'd say for some reason, yeah, immediately this eucalyptus, surely. And this time I'm even more confident that we have some cans action because there's no real grass here. This is all just like kind of a weird weed stuff. So yeah, send it in cans. Let's go to the same place that it was last time. And I'm expecting to be correct, and it was indeed that right place. Okay, sometimes I learn, guys. Okay, next one here. Manhole is fancy. We've got an antenna. And we have a very interesting road here. This reminded me of Italy. Yeah, like the lime tree here, or lemon tree. The lights here reminded me of Italy, so does the road a bit. The problem is the house is not Italian, but I feel like everything else works quite nicely here. So I'm just gonna send it in here, guys. This is a pure vibe guess. Watch it be Mexico or something, we'll see. And it was, okay. It was right on the Italian border there, though in France, and we get a 14.8, so improving. Now, had we picked the right, again, it's one of these ones, had we picked the right side of the US, we get a crazy score. But again, we're just hampered by one bad round, because look at everything else is pretty accurate here. And again, we could have gone further west. So there you go, guys. That is it for the video. Thank you very much for watching all the way to the end. Let me know what you thought of this map, because in my opinion, it is quite a classic, and definitely happy to bring it back soon. And yeah, guys, I'll see you guys in a video very soon. Till next time, goodbye.